Welcome to the Fierce and Fit Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Clarice Yao, a holistic health coach dedicated to helping women over 40 achieve their fittest, fiercest selves. Each week, we'll dive deep into the unique challenges of menopause, including belly fat, weight gain, muscle building, hormonal imbalances, and more. These episodes are recorded live from my free Facebook group, Fierce Women Sculpting Powerful Bodies and Champion Mindsets. Be sure to check the link in the show notes to join our incredible community and access free content, challenges, and resources designed just for you. A quick intro today. I don't have any specific person that I'm going to highlight for the wins, but I want to still do my little intro because people may be new coming into this community. So this is the Fierce Women community, sculpting powerful bodies and champion mindsets. If you're new, this is part of our 4-week Bikini Series, and there's 4 themes that we put together to help someone understand how to actually lean out their body, which is lose lose belly fat and fat on their body and gain muscles. All right, so we're super excited for all of you, and let's actually talk a little bit about um, what uh, what most women think. So most women think their metabolism, is slowing down, and they feel like something as they age that their metabolism is just not working for them anymore. Is there anybody that feels like that? Do you feel like your metabolism is slower, or you just can't lose weight, or everything is harder? What is that? Does anybody feel that way? Put it below. If you feel like my metabolism is slow or it's not responding or plateau, put that below. Put that below. Yes, Sarah Daniel says. Yeah, put like slow or like plateau or not responding. Put that in the comment section. Slow. So yes, so this is something that you may notice, but it's really important that you understand that your metabolism is not necessarily slow. And that's kind of one thing I want to help you guys redefine is that your metabolism is adapted. So if you're taking notes, write that down. Upgrade ladies, don't worry, you're going to have everything outlined really clearly for you in that upgrade version. So your metabolism is not necessarily slow, it's adapted. And so this is something I want you guys pay attention to is why do I say that your metabolism is actually adapted? 23 eyeballs, awesome. Why do I say that it's adapted? So it adapts to a number of signals. Um, so so there it adapts to signals. So it adapts to chronic stress, years of dieting, under eating, inconsistent habits, poor sleep, muscle loss, high cortisol, emotional eating, sitting too much, excessive cardio, and feelings of burnout, like when you do too much and you're going crazy type of thing. Okay. So I want you guys I'm going to read that through again because I want you guys to identify what do you feel like is defines you in this particular season of your life, whether it's the last 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, there's something you're doing in your signals that is causing your body to no longer respond. Yes, after Gigi's another iPhone. Is it still Charisse? Yeah, not responding, not able to lose weight. Yeah, exactly. So which one could be potentially you that has caused adapted metabolism? Okay. Because your metabolism, yes, may be different, but I think it's like instead of just saying it's just so slow, it's changing your thought process to thinking, no, I'm sending it some signals that has changed the way my body responds. Okay. So I'm going to read it again. Do you have chronic stress? Have you had years of dieting? And I want you to put it in the comments section below in the comments here. Is it chronic stress? Is it years of dieting? Is it under eating? Is it inconsistent habits? Is it poor sleep? Is it muscle loss? Is it high cortisol? Is it emotional eating? Is it sitting too much like a sedentary job? Is it excessive cardio or is it burnout? So write it below. I see a lot of responses coming in. Yo-yo and years of dieting. Exactly, Sarah. But for the first time now in Bio Revive, you're staying a lot more consistent, Sarah. So yes, that was a signal that you were giving it. So poor sleep, years of diet, chronic stress, muscle loss, and burnout. Okay, so that's really good. Rebecca's identifying that because if you look at that, poor sleep, years of dieting, chronic stress, muscle loss, burnout, five. So for example, she has five signals that has really affected her metabolism, right? So this is how you start to go, oh, okay, it's not just my metabolism is slow, it's like actually what signals I'm feeding my body, right? So what I want you to think about is your metabolism is not broken, it's adaptive, and adaptive systems can be retrained. So this is what's really crucial is obviously, Angela's in my program. So many of the clients like Kat, Kamiko was a muscle accelerator before, but like Megan Dave, Jackie Bertrand, all of these ladies who are like Meg dropped like 18 pounds, 19 pounds so far, and Jackie over 20 something. But it's not just weight, it's their waistline is like dropping in, right? Is the whole point of it is to retrain the system, right? So that is one of my key workload is like, how do we retrain this body to respond? And so I want you to think about retraining that metabolism, okay? So the next first thing we're going to talk about is what metabolism actually is. So with your metabolism, what is your metabolism? So your metabolism is the sum of all your processes in your body to create, regulate, and expend energy in order to keep you alive and functioning. Okay, so it's first of all, we need to understand what metabolism is. Metabolism is not just burning calories. Okay, so metabolism is a lot of women say, I need to have a better metabolism because they're thinking, I need to burn more calories, I need to lose weight. And I understand, of course, that's like the top layer because you want to look good and you want to feel better in your body. That's normal. But metabolism is way more than just burning calories. Metabolism is, I'll say it again, upgrade ladies, don't worry, this is all coming in your notes tomorrow. Your metabolism is the sum of all the processes in your body used to create, regulate, and expend energy in order to keep you alive and functioning. So this is every process in your body affects your metabolism. Okay, every aspect affects your metabolism. So we're going to go through all the areas that it is going to affect. Again, don't worry if I'm going through this fast. Upgrade ladies, you will have a list of this. It will affect hormone signaling, blood sugar regulation, thyroid function, muscle tissue, nervous system, recovery, inflammation, digestion, NEAT, daily activity movement, and mitochondrial energy production. Okay, so your metabolism is actually made up of all of these areas for you. Now, your metabolism, I'm going to go through why it potentially will slow down. Because if there are so many areas, like I think that is 10 areas I named in your body that affects your metabolism, then any one area dysfunctioning in any of those 10 areas I described would cause metabolic slowdown. I want you guys to think really carefully about metabolism and why it's so complex and where it is slowing down. So I'm going to go back through those things and I'm going to say this is what will cause your metabolism to slow down. Okay. So the first thing is hormone signaling. So if one of the biggest factors of your metabolism is hormone signaling, then you would slow it down if you have hormone dysregulation. And this would be almost 98% of the women that I coach. 98% of the women I coach have hormone dysregulation. So one of the biggest factors of your metabolism is how healthy and stable is your hormone signal. Number two, blood sugar regulation. Your blood sugar regulation is a is all about how do you eat and control the entrance of sugar. And so if you have poor blood sugar control, or you don't know how to control the sugar and the food entering your body, then that will also slow down your metabolism. So having potentially poor sugar regulation, thyroid functioning. So if your thyroid is slowed down, then you burn less calories. We all know this. This one is common, okay? If your calories are your thyroid is like not functioning well, you burn less. So thyroid dysfunction or thyroid slowdown is influenced by cortisol. And so if you are highly stressed or uh, you know um, just always cortisol is off, then you likely will affect thyroid. If you have muscle tissue decrease, like dropping muscle off, your metabolism will also slow down. So, muscle tissue is super important to your metabolism. So, if you are losing muscle faster and faster, your metabolism will drop. Another thing I named off was nervous system. So, your nervous system is your like cortisol, like how stressed, how do you feel emotionally, mentally. So if that is off, then your metabolism will potentially slow down. Inflammation. If your inflammation is super high, and if you have an existing belly, you have inflammation. If you have an existing belly, you have inflammation. That is already given. So that means all of you who have a belly have already a compromised potential metabolism. Okay. Digestion. Digestion, if your microbiome is off and you have inflammation in your gut isn't healthy, and you have again, just like when I say microbiome is off, it means that there is an existence of an imbalance of certain good bacteria versus bad bacteria. And bad bacteria in your gut system comes often from poor eating. Yes, poor eating, not knowing what inflames your body, inflammation markers, those types of things will really affect your digestion. So if your digestion is off, you also will have poor metabolism. If you if you sit a lot, who sits here a lot? If you sit a lot, Kimiko's raising her hand and Debbie raising her hand. Yeah, like if you sit a lot, that Luz raised her hand too. And so that also affects your metabolism because you're sitting all the time. And then mitochondrial energy production, your mitochondria in your cellular structure slows down under a few factors, under malnutrition, hormonal dysregulation, and starving yourself too much. So if you don't eat properly or you don't eat regularly, okay, there's two things there, and we'll kind of expand on this. If you don't eat regularly, you don't eat, I guess like in a way that your body feels like it's getting its nutrition, your mitochondria will slow down. Okay. So instead of you saying, my metabolism is just so slow, you can now identify, oh, that's because all these areas that she just named off, I'm not giving it the right signal. Okay. Not giving it the right signal. So those 10 areas that I named off, which one do you struggle with the most? Which one do you struggle with the most? So I'll name it off again: hormone signaling, blood sugar regulation, thyroid function, muscle tissue, nervous system regulation, recovery, inflammation, digestion, NEAT, like, daily activity, or mitochondrial energy production. Which area do you struggle with the most? Identify that for yourself. So now that you guys have identified that, it's now to be like, okay, if this is what I'm struggling with the most, and this is what I need to learn to control. Okay, and we're gonna dive deeper into this. Okay, so Your brain controls metabolism before fat loss even happens. Okay. So I'm going to say that one again. Your brain controls metabolism even before fat loss happens. So what I mean here is that your hypothalamus in charge of survival is is very powerful. Okay, it's very, very powerful. So if you are constantly giving it signals where it doesn't feel safe, where it feels stressed, where it feels like I don't know what to eat, my digestion is off, my inflammation is high, my blood sugar control is horrible, guess what is going to happen to your body? Your hypothalamus will put your whole body in a state of famine and stress, okay? In a state of famine and stress. So under this situation, your body does a number of things. So like when your body is like in the famine stress state, it's the same as chronic dieting. Okay. So if you've done lots of dieting in the past, or you're in extreme chronic stress situation, it's the same signal in your body, in the hypothalamus. Same signal that I'm not getting what I need. I'm stressed. The body is in survival. Okay. And when it is in survival, it will do a number of things to you. One, it lowers your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So, which is again, NEAT is all the calories your body burns at rests and daily movement outside of exercise. Okay. So, meaning right now, you sitting right there, how much is your body actually burning is NEAT. And you could be sitting there and burning 5 calories. And I could be sitting here and burning 200 calories. Okay. So there's a big difference in NEAT. So the moment your body senses stress, senses survival of all 10 items I put above, you're already lowered your own metabolism. Okay. So it will lower your NEAT. It will lower your thyroid output. Okay, meaning the conversions like your T3, your T4, T3s, your thyroid conversions, which is again in charge of your metabolism. It will lower your reproductive hormones, again, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They are lower in a postmenopause woman, but you still have some, but you will cause even more lessening of it if you are metabolically stressed. Okay, and it will lower your recovery capacity. Now, this is super important, especially Kat Wilson. If you are on here, I don't know if Kat Wilson is on here. There's so many people on this call that I actually have two screens. It says I have to scroll my screen to see more people. So I may not be able to see everybody. But, like I know Kat Wilson, when she came to me, had so many injuries. So she has so many injuries, and she was telling me, "Do you remember, Kat? Like your whole left side or right side, one side of her body was like everything was hurting, and everything like that." So when your body is in a survival mode, it completely reduces your recovery capacity and everything starts hurting. Then you have an injury somewhere here, then you have an injury here, then you have an injury here. And this is a real telltale sign your body is under some sort of stress. And this is why Kat, one of the things we keep working on is like, okay, let's work on that. Like she stopped doing some of her lower body workout for a while and all of this type of stuff. So, um, your body can reduce caloric output without you realizing it. So this is really crucial. And again, that line, again, I will make sure that's highlighted for, because in my notes is highlighted. It's like for my upgrade ladies, because that's super important for you to know your body's caloric sensing system will auto correct things for you because its only goal, it doesn't care whether you look super lean or not, right? Your body doesn't, your mind does, but your body's only thing it cares about is are you alive? That's it. So it's a survival mechanism. So the sensing system is like, okay, well, she doesn't eat her breakfast and she doesn't eat all day and she eats at night, or like, oh, and then she like tries to not eat carbs, or she like then doesn't like, sleep well. Like your body is sensing all these signals and it will automatically cut your body's caloric output without you knowing it. So, to help you understand this more, a lot of women come to me. Again, I think Sandy Kessinger is on here, but it's not just you, Debbie, as well as an example of that, is surviving on 800 calories. 800, 900 calories. And this is how is this possible? Because, in a day, your body's minimum expenditure usually is 12,000 to 13, 12,000. Sorry, 1,200 to 1,300 calories. Okay, 1,200 to 1,300 calories. So how is somebody surviving on 800 calories? As many women coming to me show, is because your body is so smart. It just turns off your mitochondrial processing. It turns off your digestion system. It turns off, and I should more accurately say turn down. I can't say turn off, turn down. And then it will turn down your thyroid production conversion system. Then it will turn down. Say, you guys get the point? You guys start understanding what I'm saying? So it is turning down a lot of things. So if you tell me, as a lot of my clients know, I'm not hungry, Clarice. I'm not hungry. I try to eat, but I'm just not hungry. I can't eat breakfast, Clarice. I can't. I want you guys to think about this, yeah? Those are not necessarily very good signals that your body is giving you. And you need to learn. So one of the things of like healing the metabolism is, how do I well, say put heal metabolism and then it's stabilize metabolism. It's how do you heal the metabolism and stabilize the metabolism? If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Listening on Spotify, tap that 5-star rating. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a quick review. It really helps the show reach more women. And if anybody is listening here and you're like, I need to heal my metabolism or stabilize my metabolism, I want you to put metabolism below. Okay, so if you feel like I need to heal my metabolism or I need to stabilize my metabolism, they're similar, but heal is like your metabolism is like chaos. Like you are on 700, 800 calories, you're still gaining weight, which I hear often. At 700, 800 calories, you're still gaining weight is like chaos. That would be like heal your metabolism. Stabilized metabolism maybe would be like more like maybe like cat or someone who's is already getting to a good point, and then there's still some things we need to tweak. I know like Patty, I met with you. Like you did really well with your coach. She did another coach and she lost some weight, but now she really needs to turn that to get the last bit of her belly off. So like that would be stabilized metabolism. So are you heal metabolism or stabilize metabolism? Which one do you feel you need? You guys know that you need to work on that metabolism. And those 10 areas I defined before is super crucial to understand. But if I had to kind of like wrap it together, and we will dive deeper through as we keep going, but if you follow me for a long time, I use two acronyms. I say MNP, which is Menopausal Nutrition Protocol, and MTP, which is Menopausal Training Protocol. These two are basically me summarizing like all the things we discussed above into like a methodology. Like in MNP, what areas do we need to work on to help your metabolism heal in nutrition, right? MNP stands for Menopausal Nutrition Protocol. And for example, like again, we will dive a little bit, but MNP would be like not only your inflammation markers need to be identified, you need to make sure distribution is proper. You need to make sure macro combos in place. You need to make sure that your macro protein, carbs, and fat numbers are correct, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of processes within it, but I summarize it as MNP. So you need MNP and you need MTP, which is menopausal training protocol. Menopausal training protocol is to do with the workouts, the muscle building portion. Then the MTP is about how do we maximize proper hormone signals within my muscle training protocol. Now, it's different for everybody. Like, for example, Patty, when we chatted, and I think we're chatting on Friday again, is she's quite lean, but we need to build her muscle now. Kind of like you, Kamiko. But you, Kamiko, you came to me with a lot of base, but like she's going to have a different approach than Kat Wilson. When Kat Wilson came to me, Kat is already very buff, but she was struggling with a lot of injury. So the MTP protocol is like how do you create a design of a program or make sure that the hormones fall into place without spiking cortisol? Because you want to make sure that cortisol stays super low, because you remember earlier I said the nervous system regulation is super important. When I named off those 10 aspects that affect metabolism, I named off nervous system and recovery, if you remember. So MTP is the other aspect. So when we say stabilize metabolism, you need MNP and MTP. Okay. So again, if you want more help with metabolisms, the ones already mentioned metabolism, you identified it and we can connect with you. But you could also tell me like you feel you need more MNP or MTP. Like, do you feel like you need more help with nutrition or with kind of the workout portion? MNP or MTP for a lot of you. Sorry, I'm not even looking on the side. Rashida says MNP and MTP. Yeah, it's a good question. MNP comes before MTP. Yes, a little bit, but not always. So they're kind of like coincide. Like MNP goes first, slightly ahead, and then you slowly add an MTP along the way. So the ones who are in my transformation program know that we start first with the nutrition aspect, and then we slowly add in a bit of the workouts, but then they work together. So they kind of like if the timeline, I don't know if the timeline is here, and then I have to go this way. It's not gonna work. So think of the dot here, and then like you start right after MTP, and then they come, and then the lines merge together. Okay. So yes, there's a bit of a progressive process involved with it. Um, so now let's actually talk about the metabolic signals, the four signals your body responds to. Now, I talked about 10 factors above that affects your metabolism. We're going to look at like four main signals your body responds to in your body. Okay. So I want you to think about this again. Your body responds to signals, not motivation and not random effort, right? It responds to signal. So the body's always asking, is this environment safe, stable, and worth investing my energy into? This is actually a very interesting way of thinking about it. Is your body's asking, is this environment safe, stable, and worth investing energy into? So your body literally is like think of like energy currency, like money. It's like, okay, could I give this $5 over here? Okay, can I put $10 over here? Type of thing. And it will be more stingy if it thinks it's not safe, okay? It will be more stingy. It will like not want to give you the $5 if it's like, oh, it's not safe. Like I don't feel good, right? So these are the four signals that it will respond to. Signal number one is under eating. So I already spoke about this, but let's dive deeper into this. Signal number one is under eating. Um, yes, I see more comments here. So signal number one, under eating. So the science underneath this is your T3 thyroid conversion will drop off under eating. Under eating will then cause your cortisol to rise, and then it will cause your NEAT energy to drop, and then your muscle preservation drops off, and then your cravings rise. So if you want to understand it from a scientific perspective, under eating, what happens in your body, that is what it goes through. Okay, when you don't eat enough. And it's not just calories. I want you guys to think, and if you guys taking notes, it's under eating calorie and macronutrients, because you could eat 16 to 2,000 calories and still be way under in your protein and way under in your fats and healthy fats you need. Depends on what you eat, right? Like I don't know, maybe the quality of food of what you eat is not there. So it's not just under eating in caloric, it's under eating in the type of food that you have. Okay, the macronutrients. So again, the signals that your body goes through is when you undereat, your T3 thyroid conversion drops. If I had a map, be drawn out, but T3 conversion drops, cortisol rises, NEAT lowers, muscle preservation drops. That means muscle starts to burn off, and then craving rise. So you can imagine like this like boom
cortisol up, your NEAT drops, your muscle preservation drops, and then your cravings go up. It's like this chart. Okay. So there's a big signal change that happens in your body when you undereat. Um, yes, thank you, Debbie. Debbie is helping in the back so much. Yeah. What is the difference between undereating and caloric deficit? Um, well, two things. They are similar. Under eating is that you are not giving your body what it needs, and that is often like super low all the time. So for example, like Sandy Kessinger, she's improving a lot though. Sandy, I keep calling her out. She's improved a lot. Sandy, you are doing great. Like she's now hitting it more and more. In fact, I think last time I was checking, you were eating already back up to 1200, 13. So you're getting there, Sandy. So but like you're always below what you need, and you're always not giving it what it needs. When you use the word caloric deficit, because I know Carrie, and she's like she does a lot of like her own programs with other things with other trainers and stuff like that. She's talking about a term, okay? Caloric deficit to me is an intentional effort, means you're purposely deficiting it to achieve a goal before maybe you add back something in. So it depends on your knowledge and expertise. So, for example, those of you who know me, I have a bodybuilding fitness background. When we fitness bodybuild, we have phases of bulking, and then we have phases of caloric deficit, but then we have caloric maintenance, and then we have phasings. So you're basically asking more, just Carrie, just so you understand, you're asking about someone who's always under eating and don't know that, and they just stay underfed, to someone who may intentionally caloric deficit to create a situation. But what I would say is if you don't know what you're doing in a caloric deficit and you are maybe staying there too long, then you're still going to raise your cortisol. Caloric deficit is still potentially dangerous, and more dangerous for a menopausal woman, because a menopausal woman is hormonally dysregulated, typically. It's rare. You can be metabolically healthy if you've done the work, but like on average, if you haven't done the work, a menopausal woman is hormonally dysregulated. So to push a menopausal woman who's hormonally dysregulated into caloric deficit is basically asking for cortisol rise. So you have to be very intentional if you know if you're trying to do a caloric deficit, and know what you're trying to do, how long to stay in it, when to move out of it, when is maintenance, and where are your macronutrients supposed to be. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. One thing that I want you to think about is when you undereat, um, your body, so this is in scientific journals and studies, is that uh, under eating and dieting, constant dieting, your body will actually reduce spontaneous movement subconsciously. So literally people with fidget less, move less, blink slower, sit more. So it's actually really interesting. You may not know this, but if you constantly diet and you have a slower metabolism and your body tries to slow you down, even how much you blink, or just like your respiration rate, and in the little things you're not even conscious of. I don't know if you've ever met, I'm sure all of you have, but like, some of like little, like I was a teacher, so I taught like young boys, right? Young kids, grade 1, 2, and of course we have like the hyperactive boys, and they're like fidgeting all the time, and they're just like all over the place because their metabolism is just like through the roof. And you put them on this little cushion with the little bubbles on it so that their bum can sit on it, where they can fidget and stay on attention in classroom. Because I was a grade 1, 2 teacher before. And the point of that is to keep them so they can keep fidgeting and their metabolism keeps going, right? But actually, for a lot of Oh, Debbie says my grandson, oh, has the wobble chair. Perfect. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but what's interesting is, so that's like a prime example of somebody's like super high metabolism, right? Super, the body's just going. But for all of you who are listening, you may not know it, but like your body slowly, like if your metabolism is slowed down, you literally blink less. You literally like breathe slower. You literally like everything slows down in your system. Okay. And so this is why you want to make sure that you are careful about not under eating. And the ones who have my workbook in the upgrade, that's why the tracking, those 3 days of tracking I asked you guys to do in the workbook is super important because I want you guys to, and if you haven't fully done it, do it after this live for the next 3 days before Sunday comes for the next workbook. Is you need to be tracking your hunger, your energy, and your cravings. You need to kind of be more aware of what's going on with the signals of your body. For example, like first thing in the morning when you get up, how do you feel? At what point are you starting to get more hungry? At what point do you blah, blah, blah? Like when do you get the cravings? Like just being more conscious of it. So the ones with the workbook, I would encourage you to keep tracking on kind of that format I told you in the book and and use that as data for yourself. Okay. The hungry at night is again a big red flag. Okay. So if you're only hungry at night, it means you underfed most of the day and your body is catching up at night. And that is actually one of the highest cortisol raisers. Did you guys know that? When you suddenly get super hungry at night, like ravenous, that's really bad. Your cortisol is through the roof. Okay. So you guys remember, number one poor signaling to your body is under eating. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm talking about. And let's go to signal number two. Signal number two is stress. So stress is not just emotional. Okay, stress is not just how you feel. Okay, it's also overtraining. I already said this: under eating, inflammation, poor sleep, excessive caffeine, and blood sugar chaos. Okay. So this is really important because I have caught a few of my clients, not caught, that's not a good word. I have observed a few of my clients when they first come to me. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You have a lot of caffeine here and over here and over here. But that's because you're tired. And I get that. But caffeine has a lot, can do a lot in your system. Okay. So excessive caffeine, blood sugar chaos, like I said. So you have to remember like these other stress factors. Are you having poor sleep, excessive caffeine, blood sugar chaos that you're not even aware? So when I say blood sugar chaos, is you may not even think of it this way, but like you're like, I eat healthy, but then like your food had all these sauces in it that had like a crazy amount of sugar and you didn't even know it. And then your blood sugar went crazy, but also because you didn't eat very well earlier. So now your system's like going crazy with the blood sugar because of the sauce. Like it's like little things you never think about. And so it's like, are you creating enough stability in your sugar? Are you careful about caffeine? Are you careful about your sleep? That type of thing. So I want you guys to all think about this is cortisol itself doesn't make you fat. Okay? I know we keep saying the C word. It is really important to understand the C word. But cortisol itself doesn't make you fat. It doesn't make you, it isn't it's not that makes you fat. It's what it does and its cascade effect, right? Because, like, for example, if suddenly, like, all at once I had a really stressful, traumatic, maybe a car accident, something like that, like in that one moment, it's not that causes you to gain weight. It's like what happens in the cascade effect, right? So once your cortisol is chronically elevated, chronic elevation of cortisol increases cravings, it worsens your sleep, and then it affects your insulin sensitivity, meaning you can no longer process carbs as well. And then it increases abdominal fat storage. Okay. So it's not just like stress. Like if you just only had like a few days of stress or just like 1 week of stress, you'll be fine. Okay? So you don't have to be like, "Oh my gosh." But if you find yourself in your life you think about your life, everything is stressful or there's been like unresolved stress things in you or in your, like there's sometimes lots of family tension or like super high cortisol, The cascade effect of this chronic elevation, that's what this causes, okay? The increase in cravings, worsens sleep, affects insulin sensitivity, increases abdominal storage, okay? A stressed body prioritizes survival over body recomposition. So if you are here, who here wants body recomposition? If you want body recomposition, put body recomposition below. If you don't know what that means, it means you want to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Who wants body recomposition? So everybody's saying they want body recomposition, right? So remember this line, right? A stressed body prioritizes survival over body recomposition. So you need to learn how to bring the stress down. Okay. So, and again, you're like, where, how, all this type of stuff. So again, remember, you have to look at your training. Are you overtraining? Are you look at your food? Are you under eating? Inflammation. Are you having inflammation in your body? You need to ask yourself, do I know what inflammatory markers are? Do I know what inflames my body? If not, then you need to get help to understand inflammatory markers, right? If you're like, I can't sleep, I have poor sleep patterns, then you need to get help with sleep, which comes from, people don't realize this. Where does sleep come from? Does anybody know? Actually, let's test. Where does good sleep come from? Does anybody know? Where does good sleep come from? I see somebody trying to say something. Okay, having melatonin, that is part of the hormone that helps you sleep, but what are the things before that? Activity? Yes, it will contribute to it. Okay, so yes. So Marilyn said a good diet. So yes, so a huge portion of whether you can sleep well comes down to healthy eating, but more specifically decrease of inflammation in your system. If you have a very high inflammation and high cortisol, both of those together really will disrupt your sleep. Because I want you guys to understand now, it's more complicated, by the way. So, obviously, I know in the background, like in my head, I can see multiple pathways running around, but I'm just simplifying this for you. Why do you guys get up? Do you know how you get up? You get up because cortisol rises. You go to sleep because cortisol drops off. Now, there's other hormones involved, but neurotransmission involved, but that is a big part. So if your cortisol is dysregulated, if your inflammation is super high, you will definitely have a very poor quality of sleep and you will get up a lot. So typically when women tell me I can't sleep well, I get up a lot. I cannot, like every few hours. I think Patty told me that on the call on Tuesday. I said, something is happening with your body. And she showed me her belly. I said, she's lean. She did well on with the other coach, but she still is holding on to an inflamed belly. So I said, she's like, yeah, I have horrible sleep. I'm like, exactly. There's something still happening inflammation wise in your body. Okay. So you want to like and so it's not just, and by the way, like, taking like melatonin and things like that or GABA, like they can help, but they're not solving the root of the issue. Like it's like you're forcing neurotransmitters in, but like you're not solving, maybe trying to lower cortisol, or you're not solving better food quality to lower inflammation to get better sleep and better hormone regulation, right? So I want to teach you more than just take a pill to go to sleep. I want to teach you, you need to change lifestyle habits to balance hormones, lower inflammation, lower cortisol. Okay. So it's good questions though, really good questions. Okay. So uh yes, and if you don't know where your blind spots are in terms of like where is all the stress happening? I do encourage you, one, yes, track, but two, you may need a little bit of an audit, right? Like that is what I do with a lot of my clients is like lifestyle audit. They need to track for me. Sandy Kessinger, if you're on here, I asked her to send me a whole list of all the things she does on her days. I think I asked you that, Kat, as well, is because I need to sometimes do a lifestyle audit or a food audit to figure out what's going on. Okay. So let's talk about signal number three. Signal number three that your body responds to is loss of muscle signal. So after 30 to 35, your body will naturally lose muscle tissue faster. Okay. So it because it starts to drop off, your muscle is super important for your body's insulin sensitivity. It's super important for glucose storage, for metabolic flexibility, meaning, if you've never heard that term before, metabolic flexibility just means how efficient can your body move between using carbs and fat for resources. A super metabolically flexible person can immediately switch sources and fuel, but an inflexible person cannot flexibly switch fuel sources, so then they store. Okay. So a super metabolically flexible person can be like blah blah blah. Like that's why like young people, or you see young guys, or if you have a son, it's like suddenly they can eat a whole pizza. And where does the pizza go? You know? Yeah, they're still so lean. What's going on? They're very metabolically flexible. Okay. Um, and increases resting energy expenditure. So if you have more muscle, like I said, again, you sitting here can be the difference between, someone burning, you sitting there burning 5 calories versus somebody burning 50 to 100 calories, right? So muscle is a really important signal. And when you resistance train, like you actually train properly, you will improve your insulin sensitivity up to 24 to 48 hours after training. So meaning your body becomes, in a easy way of understanding, more metabolically flexible. Obviously that's short term, but like more metabolically flexible within that 24 48 hour time frame after you train. And the more you train, the better your insulin sensitivity becomes in responding to carbs. Okay. So resistance training is super important for those good signals in your body. So if you think about the challenge, the ones who are in the challenge, your bingo card has some of those things in there that it asks you to do, about like lifting something heavy or movement and strength training, because these factors affect the signal of your metabolism. So those of you who are in the challenge, that's why the game is that you will need to check off 5 things in there for you to qualify for the next round. So it's helping you get those good habits in place. Okay. So you need to keep yourself moving, lifting something heavy, not just walking, but resistance training. Okay. Resistance training is super important. Okay. So that's signal number 3. Signal number 4 is sleep. Okay. That it will respond to is sleep. So one night of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity significantly the next day. Okay. So like if you have bad sleep one night, it will already affect how well your body responds to many things. So first of all, it will affect your ghrelin and leptin, which is your hunger signals. So your hunger, fullness signals, it will affect your cravings because of that. And it will affect your cognitive impulse control. Okay. Impulse control is a cognitive control, right? That's why when people start to have a cognitive decline, often they cannot impulse control anymore. So, but when you lose sleep or don't sleep well, your brain actually loses its ability to be as controlled on its impulse. You guys ever notice yourself when you're more tired, you're more likely to like, ah, you just like, I'll just have the chocolate. I'll just have the ice cream. I'll just have the bag of chips, right? Anybody ever feel that way? Like when they are tired, they like their impulse control is down. Yeah. Yeah, not good choices yet. Yes, yes. iPhone 53 say yes, exactly. So it's common that if you do not sleep well, your hormones get affected, your cravings get affected, and your decision making ability decreases. Okay. So So this is why, as well, when you look at the bingo card, the ones in the free challenge, you have a sleep box, a box that you check off for me, right? So again, that's the habits that we're trying to get you to go, okay, you got to focus on sleeping, okay? So now let's actually go into how to train your metabolism. Okay. So we're going to talk about four signals to train it. Now, I talked about four signals that affect how your metabolism responds, right? So we're going to talk about now like four signals of how to get your metabolism moving. Okay. So signal number one is protein. So again, the whole fitness world focuses on this, but it is true, is a very important one, but protein is a very important signal because again, it preserves muscle, improves satiety, so how full you feel. It has the highest thermic effect in your body and it stabilizes blood sugar. So why it's important that you have enough protein and good quality protein, because your protein actually has a 30% thermic effect in your body. Okay. So what it means is that if you ate 100 calories worth of the protein, just for your body to process it, digest it, get it through the system, it takes 30% of it. And then so the net gain of the calories for you is only 70 calories. Okay. This is important because it burns more for your body, right? Whereas carbs and fat are a lot lower. Carbs is about 5 to 10%, and fat is 0 to 3%. So fat doesn't have a super high thermic effect. Okay, so we want to make sure that you have enough protein signaling in your body. And that's why you'll notice as well in the workbook, there is a protein box, but also for my upgrade ladies, I remember in the tracking portion, I think I had asked you guys to make sure to track certain things with the protein because it is super important. And and I think this is where I see it often because I work with so many of my clients is unless you're very intentional about it, usually you're not going to hit 25 to 30 grams of protein. Like that's a lot of protein that you need to hit. Yeah. And so if you're not intentional about it, you may hit 12 grams of protein, you may hit 15 grams of protein, but to hit 25 to 30 grams of protein, usually you need to be extremely intentional and you need to plan very properly. And I'm going to add this part is like protein's so important, but I still will come back to the baseline of it's the macro balance in the end. So like you need to have protein, but you also need the surrounding macronutrients to support that too. So protein is the highest thermic effect, but your carbs and your fat affect so many other factors surrounding it. Like, your carbs is the energy and the workers, like I say, and the fat is like the hormone precursor. So before you can make hormone compounds, you need fat in your system. So protein is very important, but I would say even more so is understanding macro balance. So you need to ensure that your meals are well balanced throughout. And that's one of the main things that I use with my own clients is they get a formula. They work with me on the macro combination. And then specifically, I want them to combine things a certain way to hit that macro combo. But then once they get that macro combo in place, we then come in with the numbers to that combination. Okay. And so if you want to learn more about like macros and how that works, put macros below. Because this is one of those things where it will change the signal of your body. I call them the magic numbers. Um, when I work with my clients, the three numbers, protein, carbs, and fat, if you get the numbers in the correct range, a lot of amazing things can happen. Oshone, you can attest to this, that when we bodybuild, those macro numbers become extremely important.
If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Listening on Spotify, tap that 5-star rating. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a quick review. It really helps the show reach more women.
If you think you need more macro help, put macro below. And I say it's magic numbers because I always say this to people on the consultation with me is like, a lot of people think bodybuilders, and you may never want to be a bodybuilder, but something that an advantage that bodybuilders have who have done it before, who have gotten like myself and Oshone to our 16% to 17% body fat, is we understand what it takes to drop your body down to its leanest state with the most maximal muscle retention in your body. That is the whole point of bodybuilding, of stepping on stage, is how can you lower to the lowest percentage of body fat with the most muscle showing on your body. Okay. And the achievement of that isn't necessarily from just going to the gym, because I see lots of people going to the gym and I see very strong people going to the gym, and different people in different realms that are super strong, but they do not look super lean and sculpted. And the key always is, how are those macro numbers dialed? That is the key. So if you never know how to dial those numbers, you'll always kind of just look more general. And so this is why I say like the macro numbers are like the magic numbers. That's my term, but you can say macros are magic numbers. Okay. So if you want more help with macros, put macros below. Okay. So that's one way you can train your metabolism back, is proper macro numbers. Signal number two to train your metabolism back is proper strength training. Okay, so I already said this, but now from this place of like why we want to specifically strength train, building muscle strength training. Okay, like so actually like resistance training, not just exercising. So we want to make sure your body is getting more muscle fiber in place, more muscle build. You know, if you ever had done my muscle sculpting masterclass, I know some of you have. How does your body actually produce more muscle is through satellite cell activity. You have satellite cell neurons that are running around the muscles, and during the right signaling and right mTOR pathway, leucine threshold, enough protein sources, activation of exercise, like all these signals entering your body will take that satellite nucleus and it will push it into a muscle fiber so that the muscle fiber can grow. So there's a specific process with how the muscles are built. But there's a big difference between someone who's just exercising, like walking, running, doing super light weights, or like, even um, just like I always say, like there's exercise and there's building muscle. You can exercise and do all these things, but you're not necessarily building more muscle fiber in there. And so you're still not totally benefiting your metabolic rate. So, for example, if you do more cardio or group classes that may emphasize more cardio, not very intentional lifting, you may burn maybe 80 to 120 calories in that class. That's it. But if you do a resistance training session, you guys might know this, but let's just say in that resistance training session, you burn uh let's just say 80, because like maybe initially you may think less than the cardio, more other type of exercise, and but then it burns for the next 24 hours. So you want to, this is just an example, but like let's just say you say 80 calories times 24. Now, it's a little scientifically not exactly that, because like it changes as the hours go on, but I'm just using as an example. Let's just say it burned 80 calories for the next 24 hours. Then now times that by 24, you burned 1,920 calories versus 120. Does that make sense? So the resistance training is the epoch, we call it, is super important. So you want to ensure that you have MTP, menopausal training protocol. You understand what it takes to actually build muscle on your body and not just doing exercises and different things like that. And your like again, you would be moving. You can like, I'm doing these exercises, they're strength training moves and still not building muscle. Okay. Just because you do the move, it doesn't mean you build muscle. Okay. It has to do with enough of the threshold of the load. Like, where is the load? How much of the weight is loaded in? Your technique and intention behind it. For example, a lot of moves you could be using. Tracy Norman, if you're still on here, muscle. She's in my muscle accelerator, but you could be using more momentum, uh, and like different muscles to do the move and never grow the muscle. Example, Tracy. When Tracy first started doing pull-ups, this is quite common. And Kamiko, I don't remember if I might mention this to you too, but it's like you do this pull-up with like, I don't know if you guys can see me, but like you shrug it up like it's like this. You try to pull and you pull with your traps, with your shoulders. And it is, we see this all the time. Oshone is smiling and nodding. We see it all the time. And it's like, that's not actually how you do a pull up. That's not how you're going to develop your back. It's how you're going to develop a neck pain and eventually shoulder pain. So, this is just an example of why it's super important. Like, yes, you're like, yeah, I am working out, Clarice. I'm doing this, like I'm doing like this shoulder thing. I'm doing this. And it's like, yes, but are you doing it correctly? Because more often than not, you potentially just hurting the joint. Like sometimes I see certain moves, I'm like, that's more of a joint movement. Oh, Kathleen Bernath. Kathleen Bernath is my muscle accelerator, and she uh been lifting a long time, like you, Kamiko. She's been lifting for a long time, 20 something years. Always had a flat butt. Always. Always a flat butt. Never could grow her glutes until I looked at how she does her hip hinges and with her knee. And I'm like, that is why you never hit your glutes. You're hitting everything else but into the glute area of what you need to do. So I just want you guys to remember, if you're like, I need to build muscle, I need to get better at, putting muscle in my body for my metabolism, which is today's topic. You need to make sure you understand how to lift properly for MTP and understand the nutrition portion of it that helps build muscle. You need the nutrition in place to get the signals properly so that more fiber in the muscle is what you want, not just more motor recruitment, okay? If you do more motor recruitment, for example, you're like, oh, I've been lifting and it got easier. That doesn't mean you're stronger. People may not know this. You could be lifting and it got easier simply because your nervous system's motor recruitment of the way it recruits the muscle fibers got more efficient. Doesn't mean you actually got more muscle. I hear all the time, oh, I feel like I'm stronger, but I don't see any muscle on my body. And that's an example of you just got stronger by better motor recruitment, but not more muscle. More muscle will be physically, you can see physically, you can measure a difference. Like Kamiko. Kamiko gained 17 inches. No, I don't remember now. 16, yeah, something like that. 17 inches in the width of parts of her body. It should be physically seen, not just I feel stronger. Okay. So, yeah, so put MTP if you feel like, okay, I need better muscle building protocols for better metabolism, better physique. So put MTP below. And I think that if you put MTP below, just remember this. Ask yourself, if you're putting MTP and all this, do you want to look like a marathon runner or a bodybuilder? Now, you might not want to look like either, but I'm just trying to give you the extremes to think about. Marathon runner is exercising a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, but not a lot of muscle or shape. a bodybuilder is exercising a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot too. But they look like they have shape in their shoulders, in their glutes, in their back, in their legs. There's shape in their body. Yeah, so just remember that. Okay, so that was the second way of training your metabolism is making sure there's really good strength training program in your program in your routine. Third training signal is blood sugar stability. Okay. So you want to get really, really good at training how your body responds to sugar. Okay. The better you can control how sugar comes into your body or like the way your body responds, the more stable your body will be. So instability of blood sugar will be spikes and crashes, meaning again, not eating and then suddenly eating, or drinking a healthy I always see this protein fruit thing that you get at Booster Juice or whatever, and it has fruit in it and a lot all at once. And then it's like sugar goes through the roof. Okay. Like again, so instability coming from these spikes and crashes, cravings, fatigue, mood swing. So when you have the instability, it will cause a lot of like effect in your body, right? Your cravings become more, you feel tired. If you feel like you're always tired, it means something is not quite right with your blood sugar. If you're always tired, okay, and mood swings. So this is why, as well, all of you in the challenge, if you are, if not, that's okay, is walking after meals improves your glucose disposal. And I saw a lot of the comments in the 4 week bikini challenge that a lot of people were saying, yeah, I'm going to be going for my walk. I'm going to, that is good. And it's part of the challenge and in the bingo boxes and stuff like that, because it's like, okay, we want to encourage better sugar glucose usage. Okay, so that helps, but it's not the only one, right? You won't be like, okay, so Clarice, I did what you said. I walk every day after I eat, and it's gonna help, but doesn't mean like all at once because of that you're gonna drop your belly. It just means that you're gonna have better blood sugar control, but you still have to learn better blood sugar control through the way you eat, with how the meal come together, macro combination, with how the meals are distributed, how are the protein, carbs, and fat distributed throughout your day. And just like your like also like how much per meal you're eating as well, for example. So like an example would be like I'm thinking like is it Meg? One of my clients where it was like 200 calories in the morning, and then it was like, no, it was you, Angela. I think it was you, Angela, Brazil. It was, yes, it is you, Angela. Whereas like a small little morning, lunch, almost nothing, and then like 800 at dinner. Is that you, Angela? I'm pretty sure that was you. I remember being like, oh my goodness, like it was like so it was, yes, she said thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, it was her because it was like just how she was distributing all the things around, and the blood sugar was going crazy. So you have to remember there's like a number of things that causes blood sugar instability. So if you can learn about macro meals, macro combinations, meal distribution, and timing, it will help you so much. And basically, all together, that is MNP. And there's more to MNP. But again, if you need help with MNP, then put MNP as well. If you need more help with MNP, then also put MNP below. Okay. So now we're going to talk about training signal number 4. Okay. Is recovery. Okay. So the training signal number 4 to train your metabolism is how to have better recovery processes. Okay, if you can have better recovery process, you will have better parasympathetic nervous system, like the calm system, the system that lets you relax. So you can work on breath work. You can work on like mindset, cortisol control. You can work on inflammation reduction. So these things help you with recovery processes. Okay. And your body actually repairs and builds during your recovery, not during a workout. So your workout only gives it stimulus, but everything else happens in the after. So you want to make sure you maximize recovery, parasympathetic work, breath work. Cat Wilson, that's why we talk about the breath work, nervous system regulation, inflammation control. Um, sorry, yes. Okay, perfect. Sorry, these see comments coming in there, and so you want to make sure that you are really focusing on how do I actually recover? Do I slow down during the day, or am I a go person? Because I meet most women, and most women are very go. So go. They don't get to stop. They don't get to relax. They don't have time for themselves. So, is that you? Do you feel like you need to learn to slow down more? If that's you, put like slow down or relax more. Put slow down or relax more. Because this is actually quite common for a lot of women. And it's actually one of the reasons your body actually keeps holding on to belly fat, believe it or not, is actually the just this like I can't slow down, you know. So Teresa Sanchez says relax more. Yeah. And when you can't relax, your cortisol stays high, and that's what we don't want. Okay. So I want to just mention, like, because I mentioned this to Kat before, is relaxing does not mean scrolling your phone, and it does not mean watching TV. You may think that is relaxing, but that is not relaxing. That is stimulating. Has anybody ever thought about that? You're stimulating a million lights sensors coming towards your eyeballs. You're stimulating Instagram feed posts and dopamine hits as you scroll. And I see this all the time. You think you're relaxing by scrolling the phone. You think you're relaxing by watching TV, and that's not relaxing. You need actual relaxation work to make sure the cortisol begins to drop. Okay. And this is stuff that I also work with my clients in my program when they're in the transformation, like Cat and things like that, that we want is super intentional. Everything that you do step by step process so that we can fully try to control that cortisol signal as much as possible versus just I watch TV. Okay. Does anybody do that here? Did you feel like relaxing was watching TV or scrolling the phone? Anybody? Most people. Why I say that? You drive by at night and everybody's house, 8 out of 10 of the houses have blue lights and TV on. And that is our society. Too much stimulation. So it's just things to think about. That's why I want you guys to really like be like, oh my gosh, like I never thought about this part or this part or this part. Okay. Um, and then the, the last part here. So those are the four signals is like, why do women get stuck after 40, or why do they feel like, I'm getting older, my body is changing? So it really is an accumulation between stress, dieting history, inflammation, muscle loss, poor recovery, hormonal shifts, and inconsistent patterns. So we're kind of wrapping up here because I went through all like the different signals, and I want you to now think about it again carefully for yourself. Which accumulation of signals have you caused yourself to be not responding well? If you already indicate above is fine, but maybe there's more insight for yourself now. For more insight for yourself, what do you feel like has caused you to slow down your metabolism? Stress, dieting history, inflammation, so not knowing inflammatory markers, muscle loss, poor recovery, hormonal shifts, or inconsistent patterns. Which one? Sorry, here, let me see. Um, what do you feel? I see muscle loss and dieting history. Yes, so Pamela, that would be something, for example, Pamela, if we were to talk, it would be like, okay, we need to heal your metabolism. So a dieting history means the body does not feel safe. So Pamela, we would need to heal it. So we got to change the signals, and then we need to get on a really good muscle building program. Jana, again, muscle loss. Yeah. And muscle loss. So for example, Jana, for you, like for many women, I guess, muscle loss is super common, but it isn't just lifting more weights. Like we had said, yes, strength training is super important, but it is understanding the nutrition side of like how much protein and how you combine the macros together, and then how you distribute those meals throughout the day so that like your body can receive consistent signal. Does that make sense? So that the is consistent signal. Because I have met women who lift and who work out super hard, but they do not have a good nutrition like protocol, MNP, menopausal nutrition protocol, and they still can't build muscle. So muscle building requires both, like I said, MTP, MNP. So muscle loss, yes, exactly. Inconsistent patterns, right? So inconsistent pattern contributes to cortisol, hypothalamus, survival, right? We don't want the survival. Katrina says stress, cortisol, and under eating. Exactly. And then dietary inconsistency. Yes, exactly. Okay, and inflammation. Exactly. So you guys are identifying a lot of things of what you could work on. What I want you to kind of wrap up here is think about this. Most women don't need like more punishment, like I need to diet harder, I need to cut carbs, I need to do more cardio. Like it's not, you don't need more like punishment for yourself. What you need is better metabolic communication. If you are writing notes, that's a really important point, right? Is like you don't need more diets, you don't need more punishment. You need better metabolic communication. You need to know how to communicate to your metabolism better with the signals I described above. You need to communicate better with the signals I described above. Okay. So, with the workbook, again, the ones with the workbook, just I would encourage you to continue to track your food, your hunger, your energy patterns, your cravings, um, and start thinking like, where is my inflammatory triggers? Okay, where is my inflammatory triggers? And inflammatory triggers is more than just sugar. Like I know sometimes people are like, I'm trying to cut sugar, but inflammatory markers is in a lot of things. So it's not just sugar. It's like, do you know where is the inflammation happening? Okay. Awareness creates pattern recognition. So this is where I want you guys to be involved with your workbook, the ones who have it. If not, then with your bingo card. Awareness creates pattern recognition. So you want to become more and more aware of what you're doing, and then your tracking leads to action. So your tracking leads to action. So when I work with my clients, I want them to track because then I can see what they need to do to improve the next step. And you want to think about it this way. Two women can eat healthy, work out, and work harder. Yet one may need more recovery, another may need more food, the other one may need more inflammation support, another one may need more muscle building focus, the other one needs better hormone support, and the other one needs better blood sugar stabilization, right? And so what I'm trying to say is like you could both do exactly the same thing, like right now. Like you're like, I'm eating healthy, I'm going for my walks, Clarice, I'm doing this. But the next steps for you is different. For example, for Kamiko versus for Veronica versus for Sunshine here or Sonia, it's different because what each of you struggle with has a different pattern that you gave your metabolism. So your metabolism basically has this switchboard, like I said before, and you press certain buttons by your lifestyle. And your switchboard looks different from Kamiko's, looks different from Angela's. And so in order to fix the switchboard, that's why you need to identify which lights are off, which lights are off. And then we need to figure out which lights to turn back on. Okay. And so this is why I said that. Do you need more recovery? Do you need more food? Do you need more inflammation support? Do you need more muscle building focus? Do you need more nervous system regulation? Do you need more hormone support, or do you need better blood sugar stabilization? Which one do you feel like you may need? Okay. And if you're like, I don't know, I think I need all of them, you can put help below or something and we can chat with you. Sometimes we like to ask questions, like sometimes we like to know the shape of your belly because it tells us a lot. Sometimes we like to ask things about your muscle. There was like this muscle age assessment we did about your muscle and how long you've been working out. So sometimes when you talk to us, we can figure out a little bit more. So you can put help below if you want more help. And we can figure out like what are the areas you're missing to help fill in to get your metabolism reset and kind of reinvent the metabolism. Okay. The last thing I'll just say is next week is going to be the muscle over cardio. And we're going to have Coach Oshone, who's on here right now, that is going to lead that one because she loves muscles and she is super buff. And she obviously has competed many shows. And so she is going to lead the session next week on muscle building. And on Sunday, for my upgrade ladies, you will receive the workbook number 2 for that. And again, fill it in and try to have it, filled a little bit like before you come to the next live. It helps you a lot more think about things within our training. Okay. And for anybody who is like still, they're like, oh, you know what? I want the upgrade. I want the workbook or all the notes from every one of your lives, because you can tell they're super intense. It's very good to get the notes off of me. You can still put upgrade, like I said, and we can send you the link, but it is just not the pre-challenge price. But you can ask us for it and we can still send you the link and you can take a look. So you can put upgrade below and we can send that to you. And Oshone says, excited to take on the muscle building topic. Exactly. Before you guys log off, this is a very intense live. It has a lot in it because it involves many things about your metabolism. I want you to put what is one takeaway you took away from this live? What is one takeaway you took away from this live? Put it below in the comment section for yourself to like, okay, this is the one thing I took from this live that I need to work on. Put it below. Awesome. Okay, lots of love to you ladies, and hopefully you found that was helpful. And we will see you. I'll see you in 2 weeks. You'll see Oshone next week. Okay, take care. Yes, bye. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fierce and Fit Mentor podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the follow button on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, or wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If something in this episode resonated with you, please leave a review or share it with a friend who'd love it too. Your support means the world and helps us reach more amazing women like you. Until next time, stay fierce, stay fit, and let's keep building your most powerful self.